Have you ever noticed that some of the most frustrating moments in trading don't come from bad setups, but from doubting good ones? You see the trade clearly. It fits your plan. It makes perfect sense. If you were watching someone else take it, you'd probably have no issue with it at all. And yet, when it's your turn to act, something inside you hesitates. You start questioning the entry. You zoom in and out of the chart. You look for one more confirmation, wait for a cleaner signal that never comes. Or maybe you do enter the trade, but the moment you're in, a whole new kind of tension appears. You start second-guessing yourself. You wonder if you were too early, if you misread something, if you should already be managing the position differently. If this happens to you, it's not because you lack confidence, and it's not because your strategy is broken. What you're experiencing is a very normal human response to making a commitment under uncertainty. Second-guessing doesn't come from poor analysis. It comes from what happens after a decision is made. Before you enter a trade, uncertainty exists only in theory. You know the outcome isn't guaranteed, but you're still on the outside looking in. The risk feels abstract. You can evaluate the market calmly because nothing is on the line yet. But the moment you enter that trade, uncertainty becomes personal. Now there is exposure. Now there is responsibility. Now there is the possibility of being wrong in a way that actually costs something. That shift is subtle, but it's incredibly powerful. The brain does not respond to theoretical uncertainty the same way it responds to real exposure. Once your money is on the line, the nervous system becomes more alert. Your awareness narrows, your sensitivity to every little tick of the market increases, and your mind starts desperately searching for ways to reduce that discomfort. Second-guessing is one of those ways. When you second-guess a trade, your brain isn't trying to sabotage you. It's actually trying to regain a sense of control. It's trying to eliminate uncertainty after the fact, even though uncertainty was already part of the deal when you entered. That's why second-guessing often feels so irrational. You knew the trade made sense before you clicked the button. Nothing meaningful has changed in the market. And yet suddenly, that same setup feels questionable. The market didn't change. Your exposure did. This is why traders often feel so calm right before entry and incredibly tense immediately after. The analysis phase feels safe because no commitment has been made. The execution phase feels dangerous because the outcome is no longer hypothetical. The mistake most traders make is they interpret that second-guessing as valuable information. They treat it as a warning sign that something is wrong with the trade. In reality, it's usually just a signal that the nervous system is activated. Second-guessing is not logic. It's a stress response. Once you truly understand that, it becomes so much easier to work with. Because when you treat second-guessing as information, you react to it. You adjust your stops emotionally. You cut trades early. You interfere with positions that were already planned out. Over time, this behavior creates massive inconsistency. And it's not because you can't pick good trades, but because you don't let them play out. This is one of the most damaging long-term patterns in trading, and it's rarely talked about clearly. Traders often assume that trust comes from winning more often. In reality, trust comes from staying consistent in the presence of discomfort. Every single time you second-guess and react to it, you teach your brain that discomfort should be avoided at all costs. You reinforce the idea that uncertainty is dangerous. And that makes every future trade you take even harder to sit through. On the other hand, every time you notice that urge to second-guess and you consciously choose not to act on it, something different happens. You build tolerance. You build emotional steadiness. You build trust in your ability to follow through on your own plan. That's the part most traders miss entirely. Self-trust isn't built by being right all the time. It's built by not abandoning yourself mid-trade. Professional traders don't avoid second-guessing. They expect it. They know that feeling of discomfort is just part of the price of admission for being in the market. The difference is that they don't let it drive their behavior. They understand that once a trade is entered, the decision-making phase is over. The job shifts from evaluating the market to managing themselves. That separation is absolutely critical. Before you enter, your job is analysis. After you enter, your job is emotional management. When those two jobs bleed into each other, chaos follows. Most second-guessing happens because traders keep analyzing after they've already made a commitment. They keep looking for certainty in a place where certainty no longer exists. The trade is on. The probabilities are set. Doing more analysis at that point doesn't reduce your risk. It just increases your stress. This is why many experienced traders actually simplify their charts once they're in a position. It's not because they don't care about what happens next. It's because they understand that too much information, when you already have exposure, just creates noise and anxiety. So if you find yourself constantly second-guessing good trades, it doesn't mean you shouldn't be trading. It just means you haven't yet built the tolerance for the emotional reality of exposure. That tolerance doesn't come from forcing confidence or telling yourself to just be more disciplined. It comes from allowing that discomfort to exist without immediately reacting to it. One of the most stabilizing realizations you can have as a trader is this: feeling uncertain after you enter a trade does not mean the trade is wrong. It just means you are human. When you stop trying to eliminate that feeling and instead you start to allow it, it loses so much of its power over you. You can still manage your risk. You can still follow your plan. But you stop making changes purely to relieve that internal tension. Over time, this changes your entire relationship with trading. You stop needing to feel calm in order to execute your plan. You execute even when calm isn't available. And paradoxically, that's when the calm starts to show up more often. Second guessing doesn't disappear overnight. It fades as your nervous system learns, through experience, that uncertainty doesn't require an immediate, panicked action. Every trade you hold according to your plan, despite feeling that discomfort, sends a powerful message to your brain. That message is simple. This is survivable. And that message compounds over time. Eventually, you reach a point where the feeling of second-guessing still arises, but it no longer feels urgent. It becomes background noise instead of a direct command to act. And that's when your consistency truly starts to stabilize. If you're second-guessing good trades right now, don't judge yourself for it. Don't try to overpower it. And please, don't assume it means something is wrong with your strategy. See it for what it is, a normal response to exposure, a sign that you're operating at the edge of uncertainty. And that's where all the real growth happens. The goal isn't to eliminate second-guessing. The goal is to stop letting it control your decisions. That is the hidden edge that most traders never develop. Thanks for watching. If this helped, give it a like and subscribe for more.